Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the State Council Information Office press conference. Today, we are having the 21st press conference of the Embarking on a New Journey, a Government Perspective series. We've invited Mr. Huang Runqiu, Minister of the Ecology and Environment, to brief you on strengthening eco-environment protection and building beautiful China and answer questions of your concerns. Now, let's give the floor to Mr. Huang Runqiu. Thank you. Friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very happy to be here with you. Every time when I'm at a press conference, I would represent our ministry to express gratitude to you. And today, I'd also like to say thank you. Thank you for reporting on the eco-environment cause over the years. Today, I'd like to introduce to you information on strengthening eco-environment protection and building beautiful China. In terms of eco-environment protection, the work is done now and future generations will enjoy the benefits. On the 17th and 18th of this month, after 5 years, the Party Central Committee once again convened the National Conference on Eco-Environment Protection in Beijing. General Secretary Xi Jinping once again attended the conference and delivered important remarks, which fully demonstrated that the Party Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, highly values eco-environment protection and China's development of an ecological civilization. This year is the first year of fully implementing the guiding principles set forth by the 20th CPC National Congress, and a critical moment when China is embarking on a new journey to build a modern socialist country in all respects. So this conference is very important. It is fair to say that it's another new and important milestone in the development of ecological civilization. The conference innovated and developed Xi Jinping's thought on eco-civilization, answered a series of major theoretical and practical questions on the development of ecological civilization in the new era and on the new journey based on science, systematically deployed strategic tasks and major initiatives to comprehensively promote building a beautiful China. We once again showed to the world that China is determined to take the path of civilized development with thriving economy and a sound ecology. The important remarks of General Secretary Xi Jinping at the conference is a new interpretation and development of Xi Jinping's thought on ecological civilization. It's also our party's action plan and guide for continuing to promote the development of ecological civilization in the new era and new journey. It can be summarized as 4-5-6-1. 4 means 4 major transformations. 5 means 5 major relationships. 6 means 6 major tasks. And 1 means 1 major requirement. The 4 major transformations are comprehensive summary of the world-renowned achievements in the development of ecological civilization in the new era. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the development of China's ecological civilization has transformed from focusing on remediation to systematic governance, from passive response to active action, from a participant to leader in global environmental governance, and from practical exploration to scientific and theoretical guidance. We have made great achievements, and it has also become a remarkable symbol of the historic achievements and changes in the cause of the party and the country in the new era. This is the result of the guidance of Xi Jinping's thought on ecological civilization, and it in turn enriches and develops this thought, highlighting the decisive significance of the two establishments. The 5 major relationships signify that the party has further deepened its understanding of the laws governing the development of ecological civilization. Now we are in a new phase with new tasks and new circumstances. We have to properly deal with the relationship between high-quality development and high-level protection, focusing on key issues and coordinated management. External constraints and endogenous impetus in the dual carbon commitment and independent actions. These 5 major relationships are dialectically unified and mutually reinforcing, are both practical summaries and theoretical generalizations. They're rich in values and methodology, full of profound and incisive reasoning and philosophy. And they've provided a powerful ideological weapon for building a beautiful China to comprehensively promote the modernization of harmonious coexistence between man and nature. The 6 major tasks are a comprehensive strategic plan for building a beautiful China. The next 5 years will be an important period in building a beautiful China, in which it will be necessary to continue to fight a good battle against pollution, accelerate the green and low-carbon transformation of the development model, make efforts to enhance the diversity, stability, and sustainability of the ecosystem, to build a system of building a beautiful China and safeguard the bottom line. The 6 major tasks is a major strategic arrangement to implement the decision-making and deployment of the 20th CPC National Congress. It aims at the goal of building a beautiful China in the next 5 years and by 2035. A major requirement emphasizes adherence to and strengthening of the party's overall leadership of the development of ecological civilization. Past practice has shown that the party's leadership is the fundamental guarantee for the continuous development of eco-environmental protection. In the face of the new situation, new problems, and new challenges, we must adhere to and strengthen the overall leadership of the party and resolutely shoulder the political responsibility for building a beautiful China. Friends from the media, at present, China's economic and social development has entered a high-quality development stage with accelerated greening and decarbonization. And China's development in eco-civilization is now at a critical phase and must move forward amid accumulation pressures and heavy burdens. The departments of ecology and environment will study, publicize, and implement the important speech of General Secretary Xi Jinping and deepen our understanding of the decisive significance of the 2 establishments to achieve the 2 safeguards. To resolutely practice Xi Jinping's thought on ecological civilization and write a new chapter on eco-environment protection on the new journey of national development and national rejuvenation. Before taking your questions, this is my remarks. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Huang. Next, you may ask questions, and please give your agency first. People's Daily. In the National Ecological and Environment Protection Conference, President Xi Jinping said that to continue the development of ecological civilization, we need to handle major relationships. The first is to handle the relationship of high quality and high-level protection. So what's your take on this relationship, and what will the departments of ecology and environment do, and what have you done? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Balancing development and protection, as I see it, is a global challenge in the field of eco-environment that is always a working process. At the National Conference on Eco-Environmental Protection, General Secretary Xi stressed the need to approach development for harmony between man and nature and to keep building new momentum and new strengths for development through high-level environment protection. As I see it, high-quality development and high-level protection are mutually reinforcing. First, high-level protection should be viewed in the framework of high-quality development and high-level development paradigm. First, high-level protection provides important support for high-quality development, which in turn contributes to high-level protection. Development without green environmental protection is inconsistent with the new development philosophy, let alone high-quality development. Second, high-level protection can set a floor for high-quality development through such policy measures as eco-environment zoning management and control and assessment of environmental impact. In addition, high-level protection can help reduce pollution and carbon emissions, upgrade industrial structure, energy mix, and transportation structure, thus contributing to high-quality development. On the other hand, the outcomes of high-quality development could also contribute to fiscal income and contribute to various policy tools to advance eco-industrial development and, in turn, contribute to high-quality development. In recent years, the MEE has done the following in promoting high-quality development through high-level protection. First, we stepped up prevention at the source of eco-environment. We fully advanced the eco-environment zoning management and control and identified some 40,000 environmental control units, put in place the framework for high-quality development. While strengthening Project EIA and promoting economic growth, we ensured strict eco-environment management for the sake of high-quality development. We improved eco-environmental laws, regulations, policies, and standards, strengthened eco-environment supervision and law enforcement, and curbed reckless development of low-level projects with high consumption and emissions. By the end of last year, we have phased out excess capacity, including some 300 million tons of steel, 1 billion tons of coal, 400 million tons of cement, and 150 million cases of glass. Second, we reduced pollution and carbon emissions. We did more to improve environmental quality and manage carbon emissions and facilitated structural emission reduction. The number of coal-fired boilers and kilns nationwide has dropped from nearly 500,000 to less than 100,000, reducing the use of coal by over 400 million tons. We completed the overhaul of loose coal in about 37 million rural households in North China, reducing the consumption of loose coal by more than 70 million tons. We refitted 1.03 billion kilowatts of coal-fired power units for ultra-low emissions. The same has been done to crude steel production, totaling 680 billion tons in capacity. Over 30 million old and high-emission vehicles have been phased out. Third, we implemented major projects for environmental protection. We worked vigorously on environmental infrastructure development, carried out innovation pilot projects on EOD, and vigorously developed the environmental protection industry. Last year, China's environmental protection industry earned about 2.22 trillion yuan, thus becoming an important driver of green economy. We have treated urban black and odorous water bodies, basically removing such hazards in cities at the prefecture level and above. This not only improved the environment, but also made cities more livable and contributed to high-quality development. And fourth, we built a green development highland. We further advanced major strategic work on eco-environment protection at the national and regional levels, improved joint prevention and control mechanism of regional environmental protection with good results. We have designated 6 batches of altogether 468 ecological civilization demonstration zones and 187 innovation bases for Green is Gold. And guided localities in exploring new ways of green, low-carbon, and high-quality development. Going forward, we will continue to further implement the spirit of the important remarks of General Secretary Xi, balance high-level protection and high-quality development, and further strengthen the treatment of pollutants, tackle climate change, and prioritize green and low-carbon development, and support high-quality development with high-quality environment. Next question, please. The report of the 20th Party Congress said that by 2035, we'll basically build a beautiful China. What are the good practices and experience in various localities, and what measures will be further taken?
Thank you for your question. In reports on the conference, the phrase "Beautiful China" is a buzzword. Beautiful China was first proposed at the 18th National Congress, which called for efforts to build a beautiful China. The 19th CPC National Congress incorporated beautiful China into the two-step goal of building a great modern socialist country. In the 20th National Congress, it further clarified that in the next 5 years, China will make notable progress in building a beautiful China, and by 2035, China will largely accomplish the goal of building a beautiful China. General Secretary Xi Jinping highly values and repeatedly emphasized the need to build a beautiful China with blue sky, green land, and clear water. Whenever he inspects provinces and cities, he talks about the practices of building a beautiful China. For example, build a beautiful Hainan province, make Qinghai province a beautiful business card of beautiful China, accelerate the development of beautiful Hebei province, build a beautiful Ningxia region, build a beautiful and happy Hunan province, a strong, rich, beautiful, and new Jiangsu province, and so on. At the National Conference on Ecological Environment and Protection, General Secretary Xi Jinping called for stronger efforts to build a beautiful China and accelerate the modernization of harmonious coexistence between man and nature. In accordance with the decision-making and deployment of the CPC Central Committee, the Ministry of Ecology and Environment has resolutely taken up the political responsibility for eco-environmental protection and continued to promote the building of a beautiful China. In terms of research and deployment, we have strengthened strategic planning and top-level design, continued to study the indicator system for the development of beautiful China, focus on the goal of largely accomplish the building of a beautiful China by 2035. We've adopted strategic arrangements for the phases and put forward the overall path for the 14th five-year plan to make in-depth efforts and 15th five-year plan to continuously consolidate the progress and the 16th five-year plan to comprehensively improve the progress. In terms of promoting good examples, we focus on beauty and combined solving environmental problems with people's needs of a beautiful eco-environment. We want clear water, green banks, happy fish in beautiful lakes and rivers, and a beautiful base with clear water, clean beaches, gulls, and harmonious coexistence between man and nature. We've promoted good experiences, practices, and examples across China. Since last year, we've promoted 18 examples of beautiful lakes and rivers, 8 beautiful bays. For example, the Maozhou He River of Shenzhen has transformed from a scar of Shenzhen to a river with clear water, clean bank, and grass, water grass, and birds. It's beautiful now, and people praised our efforts for this. In terms of subnational practice, we've promoted guidelines for building a beautiful China. Fujian province, Jiangsu province, Sichuan province, Hebei province have tried very hard to build a beautiful China governance model. For example, Fujian province has proposed beautiful city, beautiful village, beautiful lakes and rivers, beautiful base, beautiful fields. The 5 beautiful system. And the Sichuan province has focused on beautiful space and beautiful culture. Cities including Hangzhou, Shenzhen, and Qingdao put forward more ambitious goals and requirements for building a beautiful city. The next 5 years will be critical to the building of a beautiful China. We will focus on creating beautiful blue skies, beautiful rivers and lakes, bays, mountains, and accelerate the building of beautiful China pilot zones, beautiful provinces, cities, and villages. We will advance the building of a beautiful China in accordance with local conditions and in a gradual manner to cover the entire country. Try to promote the building and sharing of a beautiful China and draw a new picture of a beautiful China. Thank you. CCTV. You just mentioned that since the 18th National Congress, we have become transformed from a participant to a leader of global environment governance. Can you share more information?
Thank you for your question. I'm happy to share with you the progress we have made from being a participant to a leader in global environmental governance. Planet Earth is the only place humanity calls home. General Secretary Xi pointed out that humanity has only one planet. To protect the environment and promote sustainable development is the shared responsibility of all countries. Following the 18th Party Congress, we followed the trend of the times, taken a global vision, and lived up to our responsibility as a major country, and transitioned from being a participant to a leader in global environment governance. There are several landmark achievements I can share with you. First, we are deeply involved in global climate governance. General Secretary Xi, on multiple important international occasions, have outlined China's positions on global climate governance and lent important impetus to global climate governance. We uphold multilateralism and the principles of equity, common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capacities, and worked for the conclusion, signing, entry into force, and implementation of the Paris Agreement, becoming an important force leading the global climate action. We also announced the goals of carbon peaking and carbon neutrality, and the decision to not build new coal-fired power plants overseas. We also launched and operated the world's largest carbon trading market, which demonstrated our responsibility as a major responsible country. Second, we led the global biodiversity process. As the chair, we successfully hosted COP15 and worked for the historic Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which is both ambitious, practical, and balanced, and opened a new chapter of global governance on biodiversity. This is widely recognized by the international community. China is one of the first countries to sign the convention. Our biodiversity protection goals are better than the global average. The area of national natural reserves accounts for about 18% of our territory. The land eco-protection red line area accounts for over 30% of China's territory, and the number of more than 300 rare and endangered wild animals and plants has increased steadily. We have established the Kunming Biodiversity Fund with 1.5 billion RMB to support such climate governance and biodiversity governance. Third, we promoted green and low-carbon international development. We vigorously promoted renewable energy. The total installed capacity of renewable energy power generation has exceeded 1.3 billion kilowatts, surpassing that of coal. The installed capacity of hydropower, wind power, solar power generation, and nuclear power plants under construction all rank number 1 in the world. Our production and sales of new energy vehicles have ranked number 1 in the world for more than 8 years, and over half of the world's new energy vehicles are driven in China. China also provides 50% of wind power equipment and 80% of PV components to the world. It is exactly because wind and solar powers and other renewable energies have been widely used and promoted in China. The cost of renewable energies worldwide have been lowered. Last year, the cost of solar power and wind power was down by 35% to 40%. This has not only helped promote green and low-carbon development in China, but also contributed to emissions reduction globally. Fourth, we also worked together on building a green Belt and Road. We signed cooperation agreements with more than 30 countries and international organizations, and together with 31 countries, we launched the initiative on Belt and Road Green Development Partnership, established the Belt and Road Coalition on Green Development, which attracted more than 150 cooperation partners from 43 countries. We also established a Belt and Road Eco-Environment Protection Big Data Service platform, implemented the plan for Green Silk Road envoys, and trained professionals from 120 countries, carried out South-South cooperation on climate response. And by providing assistance of weather satellites and solar power systems, we helped those countries to enhance their capacity against climate change. Fifth, we also strengthened the environmental management of overseas projects. We issued environmental protection guidelines for overseas projects and put forth clear environmental protection requirements for the projects. While undertaking overseas projects, we also introduced advanced visions and concepts for environmental protection. For example, for the container port project in Ghana, we established a sea turtle center where over 10,000 baby sea turtles were hatched and set free. When building the China-Laos Railway, we protected the home of elephants by extending the tunnels and building bridges instead of railways on the ground. Going forward, we will continue to uphold the vision of building a community with a shared future for mankind, implement the GDI, GSI, and GCI, take an active part in global environment governance, earnestly abided by international conventions, and make a greater contribution to sustainable development and a clean and beautiful world. Next question, please. Thank you. With the cover, we noticed that PM 2.5 concentrations grew by 6.2% in the first half of this year. What are the reasons and what measures will be taken?
Thank you for your question. In terms of air quality, I get asked every time when I'm at a press conference. Thank you for raising it again. Since the 18th Party Congress, China has declared war on air pollution with unprecedented strength and made historic achievements in improving air quality. And there are many reports on this. From 2013 to 2022, China's GDP doubled. But the average concentration of PM 2.5 decreased by 57%, and the number of days of heavy pollution decreased by 93%, making China the fastest country in the world to improve air quality. Beijing is an example here. In 2013, PM 2.5 concentration in Beijing was 89.5 micrograms per cubic meter, and last year it dropped to 30 micrograms. and days of heavy pollution dropped from 58 days to 3 days. The UNEP praised this as the Beijing miracle. But as you've just mentioned, in the first half of this year, national air quality rebounded year on year. And air quality seems to be decreasing. We think there are 3 reasons. Firstly, the number was low in the same period last year. In the past 3 years, because of COVID-19 and other factors, the national air pollutant emissions dropped significantly. In the first half of last year, PM2.5 concentration was only 32 micrograms per cubic meter, the lowest in the same period in the past 8 years. Secondly, the meteorological conditions have been extremely unfavorable this year. Affected by the cyclical activity of the Asian winter monsoon, the number of sand and dust processes in China increased significantly, reaching 37 times in the first half of the year, of which 15 were large-scale processes, the most in the same period in the past 15 years. The dust and sand processes caused the number of days with good or excellent air quality to decrease by 5.4 percentage points. The number of days with heavy pollution increased by 1.4 percentage points. At the same time, forecast shows that China will see an El Nino event with moderate intensity or above. And extreme high-temperature weather may become the new normal in the next few years. This June, the number of high-temperature days in North China was 5.2 days more than in the same period of normal years, resulting in an unusually high number of days with ozone exceeding the standard in that month. Third, emissions have increased. With the gradual recovery of economic activities after the pandemic, many industries and products with high emissions increased their production. For example, that's why there are more pollutants emitted. For example, the output of 10 kinds of non-ferrous metals in China increased by 8% year on year. But I'd like to mention that even so, compared with the same period in 2019, the national PM2.5 concentration decreased by 15%. That's a great drop. And days with good or excellent air quality increased by 1.3 percentage points, which shows that air quality is improving. We will implement the spirit of the 20th Party Congress and the conference recently. We will adhere to targeted law-based and science-driven approaches to control pollution. And we will focus on the following 3 aspects. The first is to strictly prevent pollution from increasing, adhere to the synergy of pollution reduction and carbon reduction, accelerate the development of green and low-carbon industries, actively promote green manufacturing, and resolutely curb the runaway development of 2 highs and 1 low projects, accelerate the low-carbon energy transformation, vigorously develop clean energy, and gradually increase the proportion of non-fossil energy. Will vigorously develop the green transportation system, giving priority to railways and waterways for long-distance transportation of bulk goods such as coal and ore, and giving priority to closed belt corridors or EVs for short-distance transportation. Second is to reduce current pollution. We will accelerate major projects such as clean heating, the northern projects, ultra-low emission transformation of key industries, and we will promote more transportation by railways and more transportation by water to offset the uncertainty caused by extremely unfavorable meteorological conditions with greater emission reduction. Third is to continue to increase supervision and assistance. We have deployed over 2,400 people to supervise, organized 2 teams of professional group and regular group to simultaneously promote the 2 battlefields of offline and online to accurately intensify and rectify a number of gas-related environmental problems, about 30,000, and have rectified about 26,000. And we've improved environmental protection. We will focus on supervision and assistance in key areas. Friends from media, to be fair, to fight for a blue sky, we cannot accomplish it overnight. let alone by the ecology and environment departments alone. The whole society need to work together. And we need to turn to rule of law, market, technology, and policies. Especially, we need to strengthen financial, taxation, price, and other policy support. We will persevere for a long time, continue to further promote air pollution control, and promote the beautiful sky for the people. Thank you. Thank you. The paper. In the National Conference of Ecology and Environment, it is said that Central Party Committee need to play the role of inspection. So, have the problems exposed in the first 2 rounds of inspections been fixed? What will the 3rd round of inspection take place? How is it different from the previous 2 ones?
Thank you for your question. As you all know, the Central Inspection for Environmental Protection is a major institutional innovation and reform measure personally planned and promoted by General Secretary Xi. At the end of 2015, the pilot project kicked off in Hebei province, and by June last year, 2 rounds of inspections in 31 provinces and the Xinjiang Production and Construction Corps were successfully completed. Reviews were conducted in 20 provinces, and 2 state council departments and 6 central enterprises were also inspected. During the inspections, we remained tough and problem-oriented, tackled the most difficult challenges head-on, solved a large number of pronounced environmental problems, and ensured our authority. What we did was recognized by the central authorities, the general public, enjoyed support of the various parties, and solved the problems. As of June this year, the first round of inspection and review process identified 3,294 corrections to be made, more than 97% of which have been completed. More than 64% of the 2,164 problems identified by the second round of inspection have been fixed. About 287,000 cases of petitions and reports from the public were accepted in the 2 rounds of inspections, among which 286,000 cases were closed. Good results were achieved. For example, the Qilan Mountains in Gansu province have been rehabilitated with large forests and clear rivers. It is now brimming with vitality. The reckless exploration of the Helan Mountains in Ningxia has been effectively curbed, and the scars have gradually healed. Illegal buildings in Kunming's Changwai Mountain, the Dachi Lake Class 1 and Lake Class 2 conservation areas have been completely demolished, enabling environmental rehabilitation. Well, we have the following takeaways. First, Comrade Xi Jinping and the Central Committee is firmly committed to the cause. General Secretary Xi has made more than 90 important instructions and directions and made clear that all the problems must be fully investigated, exposed, fixed, with those responsible taken to account. His instructions gave us the courage and resolve to further implement the inspections. And at the recent National Conference on Environmental Protection, General Secretary Xi once again emphasized the important role of the central inspections. Second, we identified the right problems. We focused on targeted science-based and law-based inspection and focused on the priority concerns of the central authorities, the society, and the public. In recent years, we focused on the strategy of protection instead of development at the Yangtze River Economic Belt, and also the full-pronged approach to managing the Yellow River and other pronounced issues. We strictly restricted subpar projects of high consumption and high emissions and focused on the major problems of environmental pollution and ecological damage, focused on the key problems, and tried to identify the right problems and the right subjects, thoroughly investigate the problems without ever letting up our efforts. Third, we also ensured thorough accountability for important eco-environmental problems and the dereliction of duty discovered in various localities. We'll establish the list of problems and case files for holding accountable those causing damages. And we have held accountable 9,699 people, including more than 4,000 officials at the primary level. Fourth, we also improved the training of our inspectors, including enhancing their training and practices so that they would have political integrity, they're highly skilled, and they would be highly responsible. They would also be able to detect and spot the problems. For example, when producing relevant documentaries on protecting the rivers, we spend more than 7 months on site investigation and shooting every year, traveling more than 600,000 kilometers, and we made full use of new technologies such as satellite, remote sensing, UAV, infrared, and kept improving our ability to identify the problems. This year, we'll launch the third round of inspections. We'll continue to implement the Xi Jinping thought on environmental protection, promote low carbon and green development, tackle the pollutions, and carry out the new round of inspections with success so that the targets and the subjects will shoulder their major political responsibility of building a beautiful China and will also contribute to modernization, featuring harmony between man and nature. Next question, please. Well, I noticed that the MEE attaches great importance to protecting clean water and has carried out pilot programs on eco-evaluation in the Yangtze River areas. So what further measures will be taken to improve the water resources?
Thank you for your question. This is also an issue that we are thinking about. We want to further improve water ecology protection. Human beings live by water and civilizations flourish because of water. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee, with President Xi Jinping as its core, has put water eco-environment protection in an important position and pushed for a turning point in ecological environment protection. We've tried to clean up black malodorous waters, increase inspection, and so on. We've made great achievements. I'm not going into details. I'll just give you the results. By last year, the proportion of surface water from 1 to 3 class across sections nationwide was 87.9%. It's close to the level of developed countries. The mainstream of the Yangtze River has reached Class 2 water quality for 3 consecutive years, and the mainstream of the Yellow River reached Class 2 water quality for the first time. Black malodorous water bodies in the built-up areas of cities at the prefectural level and above has been largely cleaned, and the level of drinking water safety and security has been effectively improved. Next, we will thoroughly implement the spirit of the 20th Party Congress and the National Conference to fight for clean water. We'll adhere to the 3 water integrations of water resources, water protection, water environment management, and ecological restoration. While focusing on improving water environment and quality, we will also focus on water ecology protection and restoration. We'll focus on 3 aspects. First, in terms of consolidating and upgrading the quality of water environment, firstly, we will take river outfall remediation as the key to solve the outstanding problems of illegal overflow and direct discharge of sewage along the rivers. to control the discharge of pollutants into the rivers. Last year, an opinion was released to try to increase control and clean up, manage work in water pollution, to promote an overall remediation of the problems. In the following years, we will step up our efforts in the remediation of river outfalls, try to complete the remediation of the Yangtze River Basin by the end of 2025, and complete the remediation of the outfalls of the Yellow River and other main streams. Secondly, we will further promote water pollution remediation in industrial parks in the Yangtze River Economic Zone. In terms of water ecology protection and restoration, the focus is on biodiversity, which is an important indicator for measuring water ecology restoration. Next, we will focus on the Yangtze River Basin to carry out pilot project of assessing water ecology. Last month, we jointly issued the scoring rules for indicators of water ecology assessment together with relevant departments, made it clear that the assessment pilot will be carried out in 17 provinces in the Yangtze River Basin from 2022 to 2024. And in 2025, we'll carry out the first and formal assessment. By doing this, we try to guide local governments to fulfill their responsibilities for water ecology protection and restoration, and to enhance the diversity, stability, and sustainability of the ecosystem of the Yangtze River Basin. Third, in promoting the implementation of water ecological environment protection plan for key river basins, the first, to formulate a list of key tasks and measures to implement the plan, strengthen the unified supervision of river basins, make it clear that local governments bear the main responsibility. Secondly, will vigorously promote the promotion and development of beautiful rivers and lakes. According to the published reference indicators for the protection and the development of beautiful rivers and lakes trial, more than 2,700 water bodies will be basically built into beautiful rivers, and will build a clear, beautiful rivers and lakes with clear water and off green banks by 2035. The third is to further clean black malodorous water bodies, consolidate and improve the effectiveness of black water treatment. And we will increase supervision over the already cleaned black malodorous water bodies that have been black and malodorous again, and strengthen the cleanup of black malodorous water bodies in county-level cities and complete the process in 2025. Thank you. Thank you, Zhong Hong. Nuclear safety is the lifeline of nuclear power development. What measures has the ministry taken to ensure nuclear and radiation safety, and what are the next steps? Thank you for your question. Nuclear safety supervision is one of our main functions. Nuclear safety is a lifeline of the nuclear cause and an important part of national security. China is a major user of nuclear energy and technology. There are 77 nuclear power units in operation and under construction in China's mainland, ranking second in the world. Over the years, China's nuclear safety situation has been generally good. There have been no incidents or accidents of grade 2 or above on the International Nuclear and Radiation Event Scale. Last year, a Nuclear Operators Association ranked 387 machines in the world. There were 74 machines that were given perfect scores, and many of them were in China. At this year's conference of the parties to Convention on Nuclear Safety, all parties believed that China has achieved and maintained a high level of nuclear safety. China's good nuclear safety performance is thanks to the great attention of the CPC Central Committee, which has brought nuclear security into a national security strategy. And we always develop on the premise of safety. At the Global Nuclear Security Summit, President Xi Jinping put forward a rational, coordinated, and progressive concept of nuclear safety, emphasizing both development and security. In this year's conference, President Xi Jinping once again put forward clear requirements for nuclear safety. After years of efforts, we've charted a course of nuclear safety with Chinese characteristics. First, we have an effective system of policies and regulations. We issued the nuclear safety law, published the white paper on nuclear safety in China, and we have a 5-year plans. We have formed a set of regulations and standards that are in line with international and national conditions, including 2 laws, 7 administrative regulations, 26 department regulations, 100 safety guidelines, and more than 1,000 technical standards to ensure that the management requirements are high and strict. Second, strict and effective nuclear safety supervision has been carried out. We adhere to the concept of independence, openness, rule of law, and effectiveness. We have a Trinity nuclear safety supervision system consisting of administrative organs, dispatched institutions, and technical support units. We strictly review and approve the whole chain of nuclear industry, issue the world's first batch of licenses such as AP1000 and Hualong No. 1. We have strict supervision over the whole process of building nuclear facilities. And our supervisors carry out 24-hour on-site supervision of key nuclear facilities. They live in the facilities, around the facilities. And we have zero tolerance for illegal operations and fraud. By the end of last year, we have completed a 3-year investigation of nuclear and radiation safety hazards with a total of 6,141 inspections. 369 problems were put on hold. Rectification were carried out. The third is to consolidate the capacity for nuclear safety basic support. We have established networks for national radiation and environment quality monitoring, supervisory monitoring of key nuclear facilities, and emergency monitoring. We have over 1,800 monitoring points and improve the emergency system for nuclear and radiation accidents. We now have 3 such teams. The National Nuclear Safety Supervision Technology Research and Development Base have been built and put into operation to research on key technologies to solve the problem of nuclear power low-level waste disposal. Next, we will strictly implement the responsibility for nuclear safety, strictly carry out nuclear safety supervision, strengthen the scientific and technological innovation in nuclear safety, and ensure that nuclear safety is foolproof. Thank you. Thank you. Red Star. My question is, handling new pollutants are important in ecological protection. What is new about new pollutants? Why is it difficult to be handled? And what will be done in the future?
Thank you for your question. You asked about a very new problem in environmental protection. Treating new pollutants is an important decision made by the CPC Central Committee and the State Council. It is vital for people's health, and it is also aimed at deepening and extending the fight against pollution. The new pollutants are new relative to the conventional pollutants such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and PM2.5. New pollutants are usually environmentally persistent, bioaccumulative, and biotoxic. While these chemicals have less than obvious environmental and health risks, even when low doses are discharged into the environment, they may endanger eco-environment and human health. Last May, the General Office of the State Council issued the Action Plan for the Control of New Pollutants. The MEE, together with relevant departments, has comprehensively enhanced work to control the new pollutants and made positive progress. First, identify the harmful substances. More than 4,000 kinds of highly hazardous chemical substances were identified, and a thorough investigation of production and use of these chemicals was carried out to get a lay of the land. Second, evaluate the environmental risks. Chemical substances that have been banned internationally but still produced and used in China will be included in the priority assessment plan, and a full life cycle environmental risk assessment will be carried out. And third, strictly guard against the risks in conjunction with relevant departments. The list of new pollutants under control 23 edition was issued, and control measures have been put in place. For example, the SCCPs, which are used in the production of school bags, plastic tracks, and children's toys, is a new pollutant, and it will be completely phased out by the end of this year. And this year, two major categories of perfluorinated compounds will be eliminated, and the use of PFOA will be restricted. It will not be used in waterproof and oil-proof clothing, baking paper, etc. Fourth, strengthen regulatory law enforcement. Last year, our enforcement inspections carried out in conjunction with market supervision authorities led to investigation of 15 cases of illegal production. And fifth, strengthen guidance and assistance. 31 provinces and Xinjiang have issued new provincial-level pollution control work plans. In the meantime, we are clear-eyed that new pollutants come from a wide range of sources, involve many industries, have a long industrial chain, and are difficult to treat. They require multi-departmental and cross-field collaborative governance. China is a late starter in new pollutants treatment, and there are still some shortfalls, such as insufficient resource allocation and insufficient governance capacity. And going forward, the MEE will work with relevant authorities to thoroughly implement the important instructions of General Secretary Xi. On the one hand, we will strengthen scientific support, take the treatment of new pollutants as a key area of basic research and innovation, and focus on developing key core technologies. On the other hand, we will, with effective prevention of environmental and health risks of new pollutants, will modernize the new pollutant control system and governance capacity, and do our utmost to ensure the safety of the eco-environment and the people's health. Next question, please. And last two questions. Strengthening eco-environment regulation is an important measure for upholding eco-safety of our nation. What has been done to this end, and what more will be done to make the ecosystem more diverse, stable, and sustainable? Thank you for your question. The ecosystem is an organic whole. At the recent National Conference on Environmental Protection, General Secretary Xi emphasized the need to enhance the diversity, stability, and sustainability of the ecosystem, to step up protection, restoration, and supervision of the ecosystem, and leave a better environment for the future generations. Based on its functions of coordinating and supervising eco-protection and restoration, the MEE is committed to unified rules-making, monitoring, evaluation, supervision, law enforcement, inspection, and accountability, thus effectively strengthening external supervision of eco-protection. First, we build an eco-protection supervision system. We have issued and implemented the opinions on strengthening the supervision of eco-protection and the 14th Five-Year Plan Eco-Protection Supervision Plan, basically put in place a sophisticated eco-protection supervision. Specifically, these include supervision assessment at 5 levels, namely the national level, key regions, ecological protection red lines, nature reserves, and key ecological function areas and counties, and implemented 3 systems, including central environmental protection supervision, a comprehensive administrative law enforcement catalog for environmental protection and monitoring the eco-environment red line, and reserve and nature reserves. Meanwhile, we organized and carried out the Green Shield campaign and built an red line supervision platform. Second, we improved our ability to identify problems. We made full use of satellite resources, manned and unmanned aerial vehicles, fixed ground and mobile patrol monitoring, and other means to build a sky-ground integrated ecological quality monitoring network. And we have also carried out supervision mainly on the nature reserves and red line areas, and enhanced our ability to detect problems. So far, we have identified more than 5,000 major problems in nature reserves and 79 problems of ecological damage in 5 pilot provinces for red line protection supervision. Third, we focused on rectifying the problems. On the one hand, through 2 rounds of inspections, we have made public 87 typical cases involving ecological damage, and 226 problems of ecological damage have been exposed in documentaries about the Yangtze and Yellow Rivers. And, for example, the illegal building of the illegal building problems have also been reduced. And also the disappeared wild horse species were also once again spotted in the nature reserves. On the other hand, through the Green Shield campaign, 94.24% of the major problems found in nature reserves have been fixed, and the number and area of major problems regarding human activities in nature reserves both declined, reversing the trend of encroachment and damage of the environmental protection of nature reserves. And going forward, we will follow the guidelines of the recent National Conference on Environmental Protection. We would strengthen unified supervision of owners, developers, and regulators in eco-protection. First, we'll improve the coordinated supervision mechanism for eco-protection, strengthen inter-department communication and coordination, and improve mechanisms for information sharing and case transfer. Second, we'll ensure strict accountability of eco-protection. We'll build a stronger supervision system for eco-protection and continue to harness the role of central inspections. Third, we'll be tough on acts of ecological damage. We'll continue to guard against formalism in eco-protection and restoration. The last question, please.
Thank you. In recent years, the Ministry of Ecology and Environment have stepped up law enforcement, especially since 2020. The ministry, together with the Supreme People's Procuratoriate and the Ministry of Public Security, jointly launched a special campaign to crack down on environmental crimes of hazardous waste and falsify automatic monitoring data of key pollutant discharge units for 4 consecutive years. What is the special effect and what the focus of the next step? This is a last question, but also very important. Protecting The eco-environment with the strictest system and the rule of law is an important content of Xi Jinping's thought on environment protection. General Secretary Xi Jinping stressed that it is necessary to strengthen systematic supervision and whole process supervision and never be soft on acts that damage the environment and severely punish illegal acts. Our ministry thoroughly studied and implemented Xi Jinping's thought in the frequent occurrence of environmental violations such as illegal transfer, dumping, utilization, treatment, and disposal of hazardous waste, falsification of data of key pollutant discharge units. Our ministry has been working with the Supreme People's Procuratorate and the Ministry of Public Security to carry out two special actions against illegal activities in the past 4 years. Over the years, the ecology and environment departments have dealt with 19,982 illegal cases involving hazardous wastes and data falsification, and transferred 3,600 suspected criminal cases to public security organs. Over the years, my colleagues and I have visited quite a few provinces and cities. We paid surprise inspection visits to check the pollution control situation. The year before, last year, we visited Tangshan, for example. And we found that some enterprises' data fraud is very serious. For example, some pull tricks on the probe, some use mineral water to try them to be make them as sampling water. Others use remote monitoring to forge data. And other illegal actions to cover the facts. Some enterprises and third-party monitoring companies collude with each other, tampering data, forming illegal chains, and so on. And in these years, they've come up with many tricks. They are even becoming professional in this regard. These violations are serious. They have severe influence. They have broken the bottom line and are criminal acts. I'm always very angry about these acts. I think they should be cracked down with no mercy and be punished. The special campaign for 4 consecutive years has achieved results in the following 3 aspects. First, we have put pressure on illegal acts and dealt with a number of typical cases. We've issued 10 batches of 80 typical cases of environmental crimes involving hazardous waste and automatic monitoring data fraud. For example, in 2022, in Taizhou City, Zhejiang Province, a case was cracked involving 49 people. They used a network platform to dispose aluminum ash pollution across provinces and disposed of over 8,000 tons of aluminum ash. 18 people were sentenced to 5 to 7 months in prison, which effectively cracked down on environmental crimes. Second, different departments have been working together and consistently synergize the administrative law enforcement. We have gradually formed a linkage mechanism with procuratorial, public security, and other departments to have meetings and other ways and carry out multi-dimensional cooperation in case investigation, judicial expertise, and so on. For major complicated group-based and chain-based environmental crimes, we deploy elite forces to set up joint task force to work together. This January, together with the Supreme People's Procuratoriate and the Ministry of Public Security, we jointly listed and supervised 3 key cases in which third-party service organizations cheated in the field of EIA preparation, acceptance, monitoring, and motor vehicle testing, further strengthening the deterrence effect, for including a case in Shandong province. The Jinghuan case. It's a first case in this regard. The third is to make it clear that local governments bear the main responsibility and promote standardized management of industries. We set up teams to inspect and focus on rectification to prevent problems from emerging again. In terms of illegal acts, we dig down to the roots, crack down on them, and has made the industry aware of the seriousness. Next, we will continue to strengthen supervision and law enforcement, continue to strengthen synergy among departments. We'll focus on key regions and key industries, crack down on illegal activities in ecological environment, promote the rectification of problems with the most determined attitude and the most powerful measures, and promote the objectives and tasks of the environmental protection. Thank you. That's all of today's press conference. Thank you, Mr. Huang, and thank you, friends from media. See you.